Welcome back to V-Real. Today is Tuesday, which means it is our Trending Tuesday, where we look at Pokemon sealed product and raw cards and what they're going for in the market. Today specifically, we're not looking at any sealed, only raw cards. And yeah, it's the sets you probably think, but maybe no, not the cards you were thinking? I don't know. Let's dive in. Who called it? Who said Prismatic Evolutions? You are correct. We're looking at Prismatic Evolutions to start, but I'm not looking at a single evolution or EV. We got to look at the other special illustration rares that are of the Pokemon variety, because the full art trainers are just not worth the glance right now. The Ceruledge EX, crazy. In the last month alone, we started at a lower point of $157, and now we are up to $238. Yikes. You can find listings a little bit better than that. You can. So the market's showing a little bit hotter than it is. Maybe that means we're going to be coming over the hump a little bit of a downslope. The more you look at these, the more you're like, those are pretty cool. So at least that's how I feel about it. Maybe you feel differently. Let me know in the comments below. Would love to hear your thoughts on it. Roaring Moon EX, I definitely was not a big favorite of mine. I didn't think this was that exciting. I thought, to be honest, the artwork scenery was a little bit underwhelming. And now I'm kind of like, maybe this one is cool, because they're all kind of cool. Darn it. They're all cool and expensive. Roaring Moon EX out of Prismatic Evolutions. It was coming down a little bit. We felt like, hey, in the past 30 days, there might be some hope for these things to settle out a little bit here, 171.5. And then it just took a little spike in the last couple of weeks. And now we're just shy of 200 at 195. Ugh. Okay, Dragapult EX, this symmetrical feeling but asymmetrical design of Dragapult EX out of Prismatic. Cool looking Pokemon. They've done some interesting stuff with Dragapult in the past. This is definitely probably one of the more unique designs. 121 was the low, all the way up now to 181. Oh my goodness, a $60 increase in a month. In a month, it's been a $60 increase. People, if you're thinking that this market's going to slow down anytime soon, follow the real estate market. Let's use that as a marker, because it seems to be hitting the same trends. The second you think you're getting a little momentum down, over. It's gone. The interest rates skyrocket. It's ridiculous. So if you've been looking at any of that stuff, for fellow investors out there, just take a look at that. And I think that's a good predictor of what's going on. We're not going to see a market cooling until the hobby has a little bit of a relaxing period. We're not going to have that. We're not going to have that journey together. I think there's too much hype that's still built up from people, even though I don't think the set carries as much weight. There's still too much hype going on in the hobby itself that's going to pull that to the top. And then we're going to roll right over into, it's Destin's Rivals, but come on, it's a Team Rocket set. We're going to roll right into that. Raging Bolt EX out of Prismatic Evolutions. Similar story as all of these. Just a nice steady climb up. 108 in the beginning of the month there. A month time frame that I've been looking at. Not the month of February, but pretty close. End of January, actually, into the end of February, bringing it to 128. So what was that? 108 to 128. Not a huge climb, considering some of these other ones, but a $20 swing in a month, that's pretty wild. Looked like the Pikachu Gold out of Prismatic was going to actually come down quite a bit. It was on a nice downslope from 122, coming down to now 88, 87. Looked like we got to 87 there, and now we're growing back up here, getting up to almost $100 at $98, and there are lower listings. Again, sometimes you look at that initial listing on TCG Player, and it'll show you a price, and it's way over, it's way inflated of what the actual market is showing, or what the better prices on the listings are. I don't quite know exactly how they determine what goes in this spot here, if that's a paid sponsorship or if it's a direct from TCG Player and they hold that for themselves, and then beyond that it goes to the lowest listing. I don't know how it works, but there are often lower listings. So while we just said $98, it's listed at $93.70, and then you add the $130 on there. Okay, we're at 95. Okay, so still a little bit under the market is what it's saying there, but got to look for the best price. I'm sorry, if you're like me, you're looking at $1 or $2 difference here and there. It makes all the difference in your collecting. Blood Moon Ursaluna, I'm not a major fan of this one, but I hear a lot of praise out there, to be honest, which is interesting, because on Twilight Masquerade, that was a card that flopped for sure. It was like, oh, that's kind of neat, another SIR, and then nobody cared about it, and it's grown in price a little bit. It's grown in favor a little bit. This is a slightly better design than that one of Twilight Masquerade, but Blood Moon Ursaluna is getting a lot of praise for the design itself, And maybe it's because people are looking elsewhere beyond those evolutions that are so expensive and mostly unobtainable for many of us here. Prismatic Evolutions just on the same trend. When we thought it was going lower here at $71, it's now climbed to about $93. Moving on to Palafin EX. Again, we were down there about $79. Now we're moving all the way up to $89. This had a little dip in the past couple weeks here, but past week, I guess. We're looking at a month. So the past week, it's had a little dip, but not by much. I mean, we're a buck under where it was at its high point here. So going on to the Goldango. Is that how you pronounce this one? Goldango EX. And I think there's a counterpart card that goes underneath it or something. I can't remember if those go together. Correct me if I'm wrong. They've redone these Pokemon a few times now in the Scarlet and Violet era, and I can't keep them all straight. $130 is what it shows here, but let's see for real. That seems a little bit hot because here we have the market saying $78 is where we're at now from $66 just earlier 30 days ago, although the lowest listings are showing otherwise. So this little jagged spike on the end seems to be true that if you want to buy it, you got to spend it. So let's see where we can go on that one. Terrapagos EX. I always get in trouble for pronouncing this wrong. Hopefully that the Japanese side is pulling in a similar price. I don't think it is, because that's the only thing out of all of the SIRs out of Terrestrial Festival, Prismatic Evolutions. That's the only one I've obtained from the one box of Terrestrial I ever opened. Just in the last month, just under $60 at $59.99. It was the low point, and we've already been just a steady slope going straight up here. Not straight up, it's a good angle actually here for growth. $73. Okay, maybe it's a good angle. It seems too quick to be moving that much. All of these seem too quick to be moving that much. Peachrunt EX, Prismatic Evolutions. Why do I keep saying the set? We know what set I'm talking about. I'm sorry. I can't not say it. $34. Should have picked that up thinking, hey, nobody wants these, right? Because they're not the evolutions. Wrong again. This one has already climbed up to almost $70 now at $69.66. For the Peachrunt EX. And is this we got two more, folks. Iron Valiant. Our low was at 54, and we are now getting close to that $70 mark at 68.60. So kind of right there with the Peachrunt, and I think the Iron Hands is almost as the same kind of the same kind of price. But we're about to find out here. I'm going to dive a little deeper. $53, and now we've spiked up to 67. What is this 177 listing here right on top? Is that true? It's true. What's wrong with this? Because these are going to be Japanese. In fresh Japanese. Yeah. Okay, so it's interesting how when they're Japanese, they almost always have a photo, and then when they're not, they're like crazy prices, and you can't see it. So I don't know. Let's move on to another set, because there are other sets. But again, a difficult one for most people. I've been bringing this up because we're seeing a lot of things pop up for these, flash restocks of 151 and even Prismatic Evolutions. I don't know if you have, but I've been seeing a lot of these flash restocks happen on Target and Walmart and Best Buy and all over the place. And, you see it hit the store shelves, people post about it, and boom, they're gone. So you really have to just accidentally happen upon a restock the second it finishes. And if you're a decent person, you're not going to clear the shelves. If you are tempted by it, which I could understand, little grace here, I can understand the temptation. You would clear it all out just because the opportunity is so good there. And it kind of makes scalpers of us all. That's not cool. That's not fun. Charizard EX out of 151 showing $300. Are we serious? 243 just in the last month. That was the low point. And we are at 275, 225. No real good metrics here to base the seller off of, so that might be their way of getting in there to make it happen. A lot of light plays in that close same area, or they listed it wrong, calling it near mint. I don't know, hard to trust. You got to look into it and see what works for you there, but looks pretty expensive right now. Venusaur EX out of 151. We're getting close to that $100 mark here, 87.5, and we had a low in the past month of 79. I mean, if you look at the last year of this card, it's been interesting to see. It was at 35, and then we had a big spike way back in October. Just for whatever reason, we had a big explosion there in October for anticipation of surging coming up, and everything started heating up. A lot of people entered the hobby. I think Pokemon Pocket was coming out around that time frame or close to it, so it brought a lot of people in, and that 151 explosion really took off. And even with the recovery, it just settled for new norms, but we are still climbing, getting close to that $100 mark at 87 on that one. And Blastoise, following a similar trend in the past year, of course, but in the last month, let's look at the low was 77, and now we are at 87, 86. Almost $87 on that one. Interesting that Venusaur and Blastoise are just in this back and forth battle of who's going to take the next spot, the second spot of the set, because Charizard's going to reign supreme, as the usual would suggest. And 73 for moderate. Ooh, moderate play. Near mint $76, $77. Sorry. Again, I don't know. I don't know about that. Market is suggesting higher, so you got to look. Again, I wouldn't be buying these cards at this stage in the game off of TCG Player. Too many variables, too many. I'm not accusing anybody here specifically of doing fakes through TCG Player, but there's too many fakes. There's too many things with market manipulation. You got to see these things in person. You gotta meet the card before you welcome it to the family. All right, that's the way it works. Alakazam EX out of 151. Low point in the past month here is at 46, and now we're showing a little love here at $53. We did peak just a few days ago here at 55. Yeah, $55, but okay. Doesn't mean much because this is on the growth trend for sure. A lot of these no names, a lot of these 0%, a lot of few sales. It feels shaky. It feels shaky. I mean, unless these were new sellers who went and bought up all the Blooming Waters and they ripped the packs for the fun of it and threw some duplicates up here. I don't know. It's hard to say, but stay vigilant out there because you know what? It's a tough market. Speaking of tough, the I Got It, You Get It series I've been doing on the shorts, those have been tough. I've not been able to pull anything, but don't fret. I still give away something on Fridays every single week right now with that series because I want to make sure you come out the winner no matter what. So make sure you're part of the channel, like, comment, and subscribe. So you can be a part of it and watch those shorts, hit the bell, that helps. But that also gets you one step closer to this, the Brilliant Stars ETB that I'm giving away. Once we reach 5,000 subscribers, we're getting close and seeing some really good growth in the past couple weeks here. So I want to thank each and every one of you for being a part of the channel and offering your support to it and continuing to come back and watch because this has been an amazing journey and it's only the beginning. So I'm really excited about that. In addition, giving away 5 Pokemon mystery card lots that I'm putting together. I want to make sure we have a few winners because just one prize doesn't seem enough. It's a lot of people coming in, a lot of people gaming after the same thing, and it's really defeating when you can't win. At least this way, we can get a handful of people who could be excited that they got something out of it. So be a part of the channel, and I will see you tomorrow because I post 7 days a week.